Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Suikoden 5 walkthrough. Alright, so we're starting out here with some kind of interesting stuff actually that I've kind of also let me actually first start out by actually saying that I think I made my calculations as far as the regarding treasure hunt incorrectly previously. I'm sad to say that I don't know if it was the last video or if it was one even earlier than that. There's just been some, I've had some confusion as far as that ability. But, again, it may have been the last one where I was trying to calculate kind of how much of a boost treasure hunt would give me with the current characters that I had. And I made a mistake of, I think I didn't estimate everybody's chances, or I was off by about 2% on each character, because I think I was starting at C and like making my way up from there, right? So I was saying that C was a 1% increased chance of loot. That's not true. There's E and D. So, you know, at E it should be a 1% increase. D should be 2. C should be 3. B should be 4, and then A should be a 5% increased chance. Well, just looking at all of the characters that I've got right here, I've got Zweig and Lorelei are both A rank treasure hunters for the time being. Same with Phelan and Phelan, and then there's Babbage as well. So Zweig should be giving us, that should be 5%, 10%, so I mean 20% with Phelan and Phelan together, and then another 6% for Babbage, and that's assuming that this is all additive. Now, I'll be honest, I have some real questions on whether or not that's actually the case. I farmed, and let's go over there again. I farmed at the, kind of over by Beaver Lodge. What is the name of this place now? Oh, excuse me. I forget the name of this spot. Right here, the Waterfall Basin. Okay. So this place has a really, really high rate, it seems like, of encountering. Oh, and here, of course, I get into the tarantula fight right away, which isn't so bad. But if you need more of those eyeball rings, that's this is a good spot to get them. But once you've run into that tarantula the one time here, unless you save your game and restart, you won't see it again. But here is the enemy that I farmed in order to get my prosperity pieces. Now, I also kind of learned one very interesting thing when it comes to save states and playing on an emulator. If you're playing on an emulator, you have to do a little bit of a tricky thing here. So, what I was doing here was I was making the mistake of just doing like a defend. Let's just do a defend here. Everybody else has crazed runes, and this is not a good way to set up your characters, but I'll just show you for argument's sake, or that's not a good way to say that, but just to provide an example. How about that? All right, so I'm going to do a quick save here, and we'll hit yes. So that's going to make Leon just attack right away. And what do you know? We didn't get any prosperity pieces, so we're going to reload that save state. Now, I was fairly certain that just reloading a save like this and just hitting yes again wasn't going to change anything. And that seems to be the case. I did a bunch of reloads like this, and it just didn't really seem to affect anything. You can also tell Leon is doing 2 strikes every time here. Looks like she crits on the first... Whoops. Let's do this again. Yeah, look at that. She's always critting on her first hit and always doing a regular hit for the second one. So you can kind of tell that, yeah, sure, we're reloading our save state, but this isn't changing anything, right? We're just replaying essentially the same footage over. So let's hit no. I'll go back one more time. We'll defend this time with Jean, and then we'll actually we'll use the attack command with Frey. I'll do another quick save here on the continue. and just hit yes. There, Leon, you notice, she hits him one time and kills it. And again, if I keep doing this, it's just going to do the same thing. So unfortunately, you have to do something that kind of like changes the RNG. Now, my solution to this was to completely set up in a different way. I'm just going to use an auto to get out of here, because there's really just nothing that we can do at that point. You've only got so many options. You know, I could have used the auto attack command, or I could have defended on the only two characters that I can actually do anything with, which is Frey and Jean. And that was, you know, not resulting in any items. And then I can do one attack with Frey and one defend with Jean. And that was it. There was only those three options because all of my other characters have runes on that make them just attack. So what I actually ended up doing here was to use Jean here to remove the crazed runes off of everybody. And I'll just show you this to kind of, again, give you a good example here of how to set up in a better way. Keep in mind, this is if you're playing on an emulator. This isn't going to work if you're not, because, you know, you're not dealing with save states and you're looking at literally just doing, you know, random encounters until you get the stupid thing to drop. Now, again, it does seem to be the case that the treasure hunters are increasing the chances of getting that prosperity rune to drop. I did get it. I got 3 of them in a reasonable amount of time. You know, maybe a half an hour. But that was, again, taking advantage here of save stats. All right, so this time I'm going to do a save state here. I'm just going to hit auto, and we'll just see if we can get one to drop. And, of course, we don't get one to drop. So what I'm going to do instead this time, I'm going to defend with everybody. This method was far less annoying than, you know, okay, try to attack with Roy and then defend with everybody else. Well, look at there. So there you have it. I mean, that actually worked a little bit too fast. But the idea, and I'm not going to keep doing this, but the idea is that you want to kind of reset the RNG or change the RNG, however you want to look at that, by doing a different combination of attacks. Or at least just passing one round, okay? So then, you know, again, what I did there was just did an auto, you know, and then save state. Okay, I didn't get the thing to drop. Reload the save state, defend with everybody, pass, you know, a single round, and then use auto attack again. And that was enough to get it to, you know, drop that time. So again, that was my method. I actually, I really liked that. That worked out really, really well. And again, that was actually, I can't believe I got that to drop so quickly, but very nice stuff. Again, 4 of those will get you a prosperity rune. Now, I actually put that on Roy. I kind of feel like that makes the most sense, okay? And one thing that I should do here, and I've really been kicking around this idea, but is to actually unequip the prosperity gear off of Lorelei. And I think I'm going to do that right now. I'm actually going to give this stuff to Roy, okay? Roy just seems to be like the best character for like kind of farming cash, if that makes sense. He has that thief ability already, and it kind of just oops, there we go. It just kind of seems like it makes the most sense to load him up on everything. I don't know that he's going to be available at like all the time, but you know, I don't know. Hopefully he will be. I'm going to go... I don't really like this not being able to equip an eyeball ring on him. Maybe I'll just not have the technique ring. I only say that because Roy needs to actually hit things. And if he's not hitting anything, he's not stealing as much cash. You know, that's probably okay, though. It's not the end of the world if he misses once in a while, but I think I am going to set up kind of like this. Let's give Lorelei this, and then we'll give her all of his old gear. Yeah. So again, so he's got, all right. So he's got a prosperity rune, which I gave to him. Let's also re-equip before I forget. I'm gonna re-equip all of my crazed orbs. It's kind of funny. Frey, the hero, I just realized it before, but he can't equip it. I think the crazed orbs can only go in the right hand, it looks like. And since his Dawn rune is stuck there, he can never equip one of these. Which is a bit of a shame, but, that is just the way it is. So we'll give Roy crazed, Zweig, and Lorelei last. Now at this point, I'll be completely honest. I think I may dump all of my excess treasure hunters like Phelan and Phelan, probably Babbage too, because to be completely honest, I don't think I really care about my drop rates for anything else. At least for the time being. Maybe later there'll be something that's worth farming again, but I honestly think that the prosperity pieces are one of the hardest or most difficult things I've farmed, in the game. And so now that I've got the one orb that I wanted, I don't really care. So I probably won't even bother. But with trying to or worrying about any like further treasure hunters. Again, I don't know that it's gonna matter. But anyways, let's see, what else was I gonna say? Okay, so right now Roy has, what is it? All right, Prosperity Tunic, Armband, Sandals, and Prosperity Ring. He's also got that Prosperity Orb equipped, as well as Thief. So he's like the ultimate potch generator for the time being. And I'm digging that. Also, so this is kind of interesting, and I kind of just stumbled on this. I guess I was just kind of thinking about it, but all right, so let's take a look here at the inventory. Now, these pieces of armor I'm going to talk about here is the corruption chain, or corruption shell, I'm sorry, and the Saint's Cloak. Okay, so we've had access to these for quite some time, but I didn't have enough money to buy anything until I did that little bit of farming there. And I actually did have enough money, and I bought myself a Saint's Cloak. Now, the Saint's Cloak is only equipable if your character has killed 30 enemies or less. This is definitely more of a tank, you can kind of tell here. So it's got better physical defense than the Corruption Shell, and it's also got the magic defense plus 50. And I thought, okay, well, I've got Jean equipped with that Firefly rune and the wall, wall orb for the time being. I probably don't need that wall orb on her anymore with this thing, because this gives so much defense. I mean, physical defense plus 130. This is amazing. This is a gigantic upgrade over what she had before. So I may do that. I don't know. We'll see. I kind of am tempted to just kind of leave it on her, the wall orb anyway, for the time being. But anyways, so that's the Saint's Cloak. Now, Phelan is the only other character that can equip it right now, because wait, is that he? I think that's the guy. Because he's got enough HP, which is 300, by the way. You have to have 300 HP or more and have killed less than 30 enemies. That is the requirements for equipping the Saint's Cloak. Now, the funny thing is here, Jean didn't actually have more than 300 health, but I equipped her with the Stamina ability, and that put her just over 301 health. So you don't actually have to have like a natural, 300 health. My guess would be you could probably also equip some items that give HP that will put you over that mark. So I suppose you can even say that if you've got, I don't know, enough of I guess enough of a stat. I don't know, what am I trying to say here? If you can sneak yourself over that and not just have natural, HP over that 300 mark, you can equip that. That was probably a really awkward way of saying what I was trying to say, but and also once you have that thing equipped, it's not like it's gonna it's not going to throw that thing off of you, you know? So, you know, now I've obviously unequipped that stamina skill, and that's dropped Jean down below the 300 mark. And so she can, I mean, well, it's still on her. So, but the important thing here is I can put defense back on her, which it's probably questionable whether or not I need that. I could probably go with magic defense instead, and be sitting, you know, a lot better, because that Saint's Cloak has so much physical defense. Let's see. What are her stats, Jean? So her physical defense is 215. Magic defense is 310. Okay, I mean, she's got plenty of magic defense too. So yeah, I mean, honestly, this actually is probably better to just use the defense skill on her. Now, honestly, also, she's not a very good option for this setup, but again, she's the only one with the charm runes, and I think that's kind of fun. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna leave her like this because I think it's hilarious. But all right, the next thing is, so it's very similar with the. Let's talk about the corruption shell. That's the other option. Now, corruption shell is going to be the option that you are probably forced into for a lot of characters, especially probably like Leon and the hero, because I have slaughtered probably by now hundreds of enemies with those two. And so they're no longer able to equip the Saint's Cloak, again, because they've got too many kills. But the great thing is, this actually, I think this is the better option for them anyway, because the magic plus 50. Now, sure, I never use magic on them. That's fair, right? But eventually I will, and that extra 50 magic stat is going to be great for them. So I did something similar with those two. Okay, so you can see right now they're able to equip it. Now I don't have enough money to buy these anyway, so I can't do that. But I'll just show you here. So let's re-equip their old skill. So I put stamina on both of them and ranked it up to B. And if you notice there, so the requirements for the corruption shell is you have to kill over 100 enemies, and you have to have more than 350 HP. And as you can see here at level 43, with stamina, rank B, they've got 355. And that was the only way to, you know, to be able to equip that. Now, let's take this off, and I'll just show you. So we'll put technique back on. So that's going to drop my HP back down to 309, it looks like. And we'll do the same thing here with the hero. Boom, right back down to 309. It's funny that they've got the exact same stats. But anyways, all right, so let's take a look here. We'll go back into the shop. And if I can find them, there it is, Corruption Shell. Now you can see their names are grayed out because they no longer meet the requirements for equipping this. So keep that in mind. Very, very cool. Very cool. What am I trying to say here? System, I suppose, or really cool armor. I don't know. Very powerful, very good, as long as you meet the requirements. So, like, you know, Corruption Shell is going to be pretty tough to get on a lot of the casters, right? Because their HP generally kind of sucks. At least until you get higher level. But there's some kind of cheesy stuff that you can do as long as you've got enough money to get yourself a couple of those early on. You know, obviously right now was the first chance that I had enough money to do that. But all right, let's. Man, I just feel like now maybe it's time to move on. Auto HP recovery. Yeah, I don't really need this on anybody. Oh, that's why I had that on Jean for the HP recovery. I just realized that now. But all right, anyways, let's throw this stuff in here. I'll throw this last prosperity piece into. I don't foresee myself making any more of those, but I suppose at least it's an option. Wow, 20 minutes. Oh my god. Man. Let's see here. Kind of tempted to just hold off. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. I think we're done with all of the recruitment stuff. Yeah, for the time being. Oh, I suppose being that we're kind of on the topic, I guess I would just say keep in mind what the requirements are for these items, right? So like Saint's Cloak is I would argue, you know, more geared toward your frontline fighters. This is just, well, I suppose that maybe that's not even accurate, right? This is just good. It's good defensively. This is slightly, and the Corruption Shell is slightly more offense oriented. But, like, let's just say that you want to make a really, really good tank. You probably want to go with the Saint's Cloak, right? You know, you'll get the extra magic defense. You'll get, I mean, it's, again, even just a little bit more physical defense as well. But the key, though, is, again, to not go over the 30 kills. So, maybe there's somebody out there that you feel like is going to make a really good tank, but, you know, you want to make sure that you don't screw yourself out of being able to use the Saint's Cloak. Well, that means you need to sideline them. Or, kind of another cheesy thing that you can do with that is actually kind of what I did with Gene there, was to throw a wall orb on that person. Now, keep in mind, you've only got one wall orb, so that's not really going to work with everybody. But that prevents your character from killing anything, which, you know, kind of is one way to do that. Also, I mean, obviously, just not, you know, using them in combat. So, I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things that, you know, and maybe it's a little bit late in the game to really be, you know, talking about that. But, I don't know. There's also New Game Plus, I suppose, if you want to play around, you know, with something like that. But, you know, I don't know. I think that, you know, there's definitely some interesting things that you could do. You know, Firefly Orb, and I mentioned this earlier. Firefly Orb, you know, Wall Orb, yeah, that's kind of cool, but you probably don't really need that, especially probably at this point in the game. We're not really going to need that much. But like a Strike Back Orb, and then what would be another good one? Strike Back, Firefly. I mean, I don't think that you really need more for defense. You know, you could probably go with like a boost, maybe? I don't know, though. I'm just trying to think, right? Because Firefly is going to draw the attack. Strike Back is going to, you know, make sure that you counter all the time. So, you know, somebody that's, you know, kind of tankier, probably that makes sense. I'll be honest, though. I mean, a Wall Orb is still a good option. It's just I don't know that you really need it with the whatchamacallit. The Saint's Cloak, right? Because you've got so much defense already. You could probably do like a Crazed Orb, right? And just make your character a Berserker, right? So at least they can still deal a lot of damage. Because of that, they'll be very defensive and they'll draw all of your attacks. So I don't know. Maybe I'll set up a tank like that later and just give that a shot. But anyway, it's at least something to think about. You know, I don't know if Belkut is able to you know, do this kind of stuff anymore because he's got he's probably racked up a lot of kills for me at the beginning of the game. But he also does well. That the problem with him also is that he's got that I forget what's his he's got a rune permanently on him, so that may not be an option, or he may not be a good option for that setup. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna cut this one here. I'm gonna start the next one off fresh, and we'll get right back into storyline stuff. So as always, hope the guide was helpful, and thank you for watching.